We all have those questions keeping us up at night. Like, does earning a higher income actually cure your financial stress? We all have a specific number in our heads. We assume that crossing our next income milestone will automatically leave us with excess cash to finally start saving. Let's test that scenario. Imagine you receive a $500 per month raise today. You immediately feel a wave of relief and a sense of new financial breathing room. But that initial relief is mathematically flawed. It relies on the false expectation that your spending habits will remain entirely frozen in place while your income rises. Let's fast forward the scenario 6 months into the future to see what actually happens to that raise. The extra $500 is flowing into your account every month, but your total savings balance hasn't increased by a single dollar. You find yourself trapped in the exact same paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, feeling the same psychological frustration despite having a higher cash flow. If your income objectively increased but your wealth did not, the money didn't vanish. That surplus was absorbed by an invisible systemic flaw in how you process money. Human beings rarely evaluate wealth objectively. We look at our resources relatively, constantly measuring them against our current environment and desires. This triggers lifestyle inflation, the automatic expansion of what we consider to be a basic need as our resources grow. When you get a raise, your body experiences an immediate physiological reaction. A chemical reward response, specifically dopamine, floods your system, prompting you to seek gratification. Your mind starts building perfectly logical justifications to reward yourself. You eat out a bit more frequently, you finance a slightly newer car, or you upgrade your smartphone. Lifestyle inflation is not a conscious mathematical error. It is a subconscious behavioral blind spot that quietly neutralizes any new wealth you generate. Let's transition from psychological theory to the hard mathematical reality of a personal budget over time. This chart shows an income line climbing over a 5-year timeline. Notice the corresponding red expenses line perfectly shadowing it. Because these variables move in exact tandem, the gap to save money never forms. The margin for surplus stays practically at zero. You aren't getting richer. You are merely funding a progressively more expensive version of being broke. Earning more money does not fix bad financial mechanics. The failure lies entirely in the sequence of how your money is processed. Most of us use the same default financial strategy. We pay all our monthly expenses first, and then attempt to save whatever cash is left over at the end. Relying on your willpower at the end of a 30-day consumption cycle is a biologically and psychologically doomed strategy. The mere presence of available, visible cash sitting in your primary checking account acts as a signal to your brain that it is completely safe to consume. As long as surplus cash is visible and accessible, human nature will find a way to spend it. Saving what's left is mathematically backwards. The required structural intervention is to reverse the flow of your money entirely. Save first, spend second. Now, let's rewind that original $500 raise scenario back to the exact moment the new paycheck hits your account. This diagram shows an automated diversion. Before that $500 mixes with your primary spending pool, it splits off and routes into a separate savings vehicle. This creates artificial scarcity. Your brain organically adapts its spending to the remaining balance, completely bypassing willpower. True wealth is built by prioritizing paying yourself before paying everyone else. यहाँ आप अपने मन का कोई भी सवाल पूछ सकते हैं, तो जल्दी से सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और कमेंट में अपना सवाल लिखिए, क्योंकि आपका अगला सवाल ही हमारा अगला वीडियो हो सकता है. Escaping the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle is ultimately an exercise in structural design. Outsmarting your own psychology is a far more powerful tool than simply earning more money.